Hi everyone, it's Sunday, March 26th, time for another HideNet Week in Review. I'm Vera Dordick. Starting with the U.S. market, it appears that it was another disappointing week for sales. Even some typically enthusiastic producers said it was slow, although they do insist they are well sold on steer selections, but not everyone is so sure. Prices were again mostly steady, and just like last week, it was partly due to the low level of activity. Looking at heavy Texas steers, prices were unchanged, so selections averaging 64-66 pounds are still at $26. In the cow sector, sellers are having a tough time because interest has really dropped off. For both cows and steers, it's pretty clear that lower prices may not make that much of a difference when customers just don't need the hides. With regard to combined export sales for the week ending March 16th, they were a disappointing 473,200, even though that's up by 12% from the previous week. Combined shipments dropped by 17% to total just 511,100. Estimated slaughter for the week ending yesterday, March 25th, was 626,000, and that's incrementally lower than last week. Turning to Europe, editor Andrea Guolo reports that while sellers are trying to push prices up, tanneries aren't on board with the increases, so hides are stacking up and things are lining up to turn bearish. In the UK and Ireland, prices were again unchanged, although currency factors are causing some issues in negotiations with customers in China. The 36 plus kilo British ox is still at 85 cents in sterling. And in Ireland, prices are around 95 cents in euros per kilo. For European bulls, after some increases last week, prices appear to be pulling back. Northern German bull prices have settled at €1.15 per kilo for the 40 plus kilo selection. And the price of heavy southern hides is also softening a bit. With regard to European cows, prices were mostly stable, but then there weren't many contracts concluded. And in the veal skin market, as we know, the situation remains unchanged. In his analysis, Andre explains what has happened with prices since Lineapel, and he addresses some disputes that were expressed over our reports of increases last week. He also discusses the outlook for the next month or so, and in Europe, just as in the US, it's demand that will move the market, not the supply of hides. From South America, editor Ronald Guiel reports that raw material prices went up just 3 cents this week, and fresh hide prices averaged $1.39 per kilo. TR1 remains unchanged at 70 cents per square foot. Other Latin origins were again stable, although some are being pressured to go higher. In other news from Brazil, the country says that the early footwear fairs should generate $74 million for the footwear sector. JBS reports that Q4 profits dropped almost 64%, and the CICB released a new video on the benefits of leather. From elsewhere in Latin America, Argentina's leather and footwear employment was up slightly in December. And in Mexico, a proposal has been floated proposed to protect shoemakers from unfair competition. In Paraguay, the meat and leather sectors are looking at the EU traceability requirements and ways to stay competitive there. And in Uruguay, Alibaba billionaire Jack Ma made a supposedly private visit last week, but is apparently considering investing in Uruguay's meat sector. That is all we have for today, and until next week, good night from HideNet.